Hello, all you beautiful individuals. Welcome to League Unlock. Eric and Mark here with you guys today as we recap all the action that was over the weekend in weeks 5, 6, 7, 8, whatever weekend it was, or whatever week it was for the major regions. And as always, Mark, we got to start with the greatest for fun region, North America.
Hey, the for fun region, getting it done here this time. And when you're looking, some of these matches are fun. And let me tell you what, watching some of these matches, the opposite of fun if you're having any hopes for North America on the international stage. A couple of these teams, oh man, they're not going to be happy coming around tomorrow seeing those power rankings, because let me tell you what, they absolutely failed their tests this past weekend.
The best performing teams of the last year and a half, Liquid versus Cloud9, always fun when these guys meet up on the Rift. But I think coming into this after a loss against FlyQuest, they subbed out Sneaky for that one. Not much expectations for them against the defending LCS champions. And of course, that's when C9 delivers and get the big upset win.
It's exactly when you count them out the most, that's when C9 finds a way to turn it on to their maximum power, gets that overdrive going. This was a good, strong performance. Again, hey, and major shout outs here from the Cloud9 crew onto Niski. I thought his performance in this matchup was a major reason why they were able to come away with this victory here. And when you think about it in the big picture, yes, this is a great win for C9. This is something that we had needed to see from them to really, after this past couple of weeks and optics kind of surge into that part of the rankings here, we needed to see C9 kind of put their stomp here on, saying, hey, you know what? We are going to be one of these teams that can find a way to challenge TL domestically, find a way to assert us up if we're not going to be able to beat TL, if we're going to be the number 2 team here. But hey, guess what? Doesn't matter. You did beat TL here. You get the victory, and this one matters big time here because, hey, TL just found a way to get that victory over Optic, and man, that was a real close one and earlier on in the week. But getting that victory here and now C9 getting that one means that you've got a bit of that distance here between yourself and Optic to prove that you are the number 2 team here, in North America.
And that was quietly Sneaky's best performance of summer. All you have to do is bench him once, and then that really reignites the fire underneath him. Sona Tom Kench fall down for TL, but usually they've been really solid on those picks here. TSM versus 100 Thieves. This is the playoff push. This is the penultimate week. It was week 8. You got to beat the teams below you if you want to make playoffs. TSM slugs through Echo Fox, a disaster of a game, and they follow that up by probably an even worse performance against 100 Thieves, where they just got completely outclassed and out-macroed by 100 Thieves.
The problem here with the wording is saying that, slugging Echo Fox, everyone's going to think historically, oh man, they must have taken him back to the woodshed. No. It was a slug's pace.
Maybe slogging.
Yeah, slug's pace to the game to get TSM all the way across the finish line against an Echo Fox team they should have been able to find a victory against much earlier. And then you come into this game against 100 Thieves. And yes, 100 Thieves is this team that we have been talking about making these improvements. And I think at this opportunity right now, the worst team for a TSM to face right into this situation, coming off that poor performance against Echo Fox, needing to put up a big performance here and make these type of changes. You go up against a team, 100 Thieves here, playing at their best that they've ever played this past season, and on top of that, with the form that Amazing and Ryu has shown, these two players that are so decisive and willing to make these type of calls here on a TSM team that is so uncoordinated right now that this is absolutely the nightmare. This was a completely failed weekend from them. We had been seeing some poor showings for about a week or two now heading into this one, and we said, hey, we need to see it turn up here. We need to see the TSM of the spring split.
They turned it way down.
Man, they turned it all the way down here, and it's starting to raise questions that when you added Zeeks as your coach here, and he talked about, we need to develop here our own identity, our own strength in game here. We can't just copy the LCK all the time. Well, where is this identity? Because I've seen you fall back on the late scaling, and that identity's gone too.
We've seen their identity the past 3 games. It's the TSM identity of just playing pretty badly around the map, totally indecisive, the complete opposite of what 100 Thieves were playing. You saw Smoothie and Sven get caught out in back-to-back plays in the exact same spot, just walking near a bush that 100 Thieves were clearly sitting in. So communication, obviously one of many issues with TSM right now. Someone who doesn't seem to have many issues is CLG. That's right. Double-digit wins, 11 wins. They're going to playoffs, Mark, for the first time since 2017 summer. And we've talked about Ruin fitting in seamlessly here. He had another weekend where he was an absolute beast.
This has been a monster performance from him. I can't think of almost any other split where you've had a player come in and have such an unbelievably monstrous impact right away for his squad. And not only has the impact that Ruin has been having been so strong and great here for this CLG team, it's getting better week after week. That's the incredible thing here, is you're kind of thinking to yourself, how much better can it get here for this squad? How much more value can they get from this one position? And it keeps going up here for this CLG squad. And not only is he playing well, you're still getting strong, steady carry performances out of Power of Evil in the mid lane. Wiggly has become this jungler here that we had been talking about for a long time with CLG. We all knew the mechanical skill was there. We needed him to settle into the role, settle into the communication with the team. You're absolutely seeing that now. And hey, again, on the bottom side, sometimes this duo kind of flip-flops between being really strong and really struggling. Right now, they are in a great groove here. Stixxay and Biofrost are strong.
Yeah, I think Wiggly and Ruin are pretty much locks for all-pro nods this split. And CLG, they played teams below them in the standings, non-playoff squads this weekend, but they did what TSM couldn't. They complete the 2-0, and deservedly so. They're clinching a playoff spot. Another squad that went 2-0 were the Guardians this weekend, and they haven't gone 2-0 since week 1, Mark. It's been a whole lot of 1-1s or 0-2s. And again, it's about when you're getting these wins. Week 8, this is must win if you want to make playoffs as a part of these 3, 6, and 8 teams. And the Guardians, hey, they delivered against some teams that they are going head-to-head against for those spots.
And this was a massive win here. This one right against Optic. This was one of those ones that really was kind of one of these prove me type of matches here, where you had to say, look, if you want to be one of these playoff squads, these are the type of squads that you're going to have to be up against, and you have to be able to count on getting your victories here. This time, the Golden Guardians get it done. Definitely a really great job here by a lot of their solo lane performances here. And I think as a duo, FBI and Huhi have kind of gone under the radar since coming back in. A lot of people not exactly wanting to have that faith in Huhi after the way things ended with 100 Thieves and making a type of role swap this late in your career. But I think what we've seen so far from them has been steady enough, at least at the LCS level. And when you talk about the advantages that a player like Haunter in the top side and Frog in the mid lane are able to get this Golden Guardians roster, hey man, they might be looking to pick up more of these 2-0 weekends just like they did to start off the split.
Yeah, and I think if they play at the level they did this weekend, that is definitely a deserving playoff team, even over someone like TSM, based on their last couple of weekends. Coming up after the break, Fnatic get a win, but are you really feeling that confident in this roster right now? Ladies and gentlemen, we are back here on League Unlock. Eric and Mark with you guys, recapping some action from the LEC over the weekend. And since Fnatic's 7-1 start, they looked so good. They took down G2. They have now gone 2-2 since then and have been anything but confident with the roster shuffles. They go 1-1 again, but they get the win against Origin, and it is a not particularly inspiring win that they get, but they do get it with the Rengar top.
Hey, you got that win there, and that one is something. I guess that's one that we can say for Bwipo.
Means it works. Bring it back.
I'm not going to go as far as to say that it works, but let's just say that at least it worked out this one time here, and now you can maybe put it away and say, hey, we got one. Put that in your pocket and say, yeah, that'll work.
He did get caught out, and that led to this Baron. Actually, it was more Nemesis who got caught out. What is Mithy doing here? Stun the Rakan, man! Just kill him! All 5 of them could have killed.
No. That's not what you do. You just let him walk right in there.
You're literally walking side by side with the Rakan. He comes in, knocks some people up, and then it's the steal for Reckless. Cold didn't even have Smite on that Baron, by the way.
That's 100%.
It's on cooldown.
That's 100% one of those situations where your mind loses track of it, and you're kind of like, yeah, he's right beside me.
My Smite's not working.
And you're kind of like, well, that's crazy. Why would he be right beside me? That's insane.
Must be my teammate.
What type of moron would do that? Oh, wait a minute. I'm the moron because I didn't stop him. And that's exactly what happened there. When you're talking about the Fnatic players and what's been going on here, I think again, this is all more or less a rumor type of situation and no one knows, but there's got to be something going on there, because the way you look at the performance of this roster here before this point in time and what has been going on and what type of talent you're going up against, there really hasn't been any type of drastic change. And the only drastic change, yes, is the roster change that you did do that one time there. But when you're looking at this as a fan, I think your questions have to be more so towards something has happened here, and it's not something that can necessarily be proven on the Rift itself, but the actual results are not coming through. Something had to go on behind the scenes, and I hope it gets figured out pretty soon here, because this Fnatic squad is too good to be performing at this low level.
Yeah, they didn't even look that happy after that win against Origin, who, by the way, now 5-7. Same record as Vitality, so struggles continuing towards playoffs. Splice is, with Fnatic struggles, I think Splice is clearly looking like the second best team in Europe right now. They're looking a lot cleaner, and they got a bit of a revenge win against Schalke, who did take the first time that these guys met earlier in the split, and they looked good. This was, I hesitate to say G2-esque because that's too big a compliment.
We gotta be careful.
But they're winning with Jin, Mark.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, I am all about that. You know that this is what you want to be doing here. I think, you know what?
I don't know if this is what you want to be doing.
Hey, man.
Playing Jin.
Playing Jin, I'm going to give this one the rating of the 4th best game around the globe this week here. Absolutely. You got to have the number 4 here if you're rolling the Jin. Kave doing me proud here, rolling through with the Maestro, coming through here. And of course, you also got to give the credit in this one, I think, to Xerxes. Xerxes has been one of these junglers here that doesn't get quite as much credit, I think, as some of these flashier names here in the LEC. But when you do talk about the results that he has been able to put up through here and what he has been steadily doing here with this Splice squad, I think he does deserve the thumbs up, and especially this week, definitely contributing.
No, he's had a fantastic split. Him and Humanoid have both actually been the key cogs more than Kabe so far in summer. And Schalke upset got really fed, but wasn't able to completely take over the game. There's this other team in Europe that you may have heard of, going by the name of G2 eSports these days. And every week we got to check in with what they're doing on the Rift, how quickly they're destroying teams, if they're keeping up their kill per minute pace. Well, they did against SK on Saturday, 24 kills in 24 minutes. And the champ select, they went with the old Annie top. Tristana mid, we've been seeing, but Annie top, nobody's playing that.
Look, I know I was sick this past week, but are my eyes telling me something wrong here? I'm seeing an Annie up top. I'm seeing a Tristana mid, and then, wait, the Yasuo's down in the bottom side. What is going on here? Nope.
Well, the Yasuo makes sense. Yeah. You know, Perk said
the Yasuo is the most normal thing in this composition here whatsoever. This was an unbelievable one, and this is when you talked here. Cap said that, hey, why'd you play the Tristana in this one? It's like, well, we did think about things, and people booed us when we showed the Corki.
Corki is here, boo!
Someone had the sign in the crowd saying, play Tristana, and we said, all right,
sure.
let's give it a roll here. And that's how good G2 is. They can say, give us the crowd-funded suggestions here. Did
someone have an Annie sign then? Because why is that going in the top side? Wonder ends up going deathless, by the way, on the Annie top.
That's a vicious little girl.
I don't know what else to say about G2 at this point. These guys can literally troll their way through a draft and then still go 24 kills in 24 minutes and completely decimate a team. Clearly the best team in EU. Clearly the best team in the world right now. I'm going to say it, heading into Worlds, there's going to be a lot of hype around them, and deservedly so. There's some more hype around XL now, the 10th place team in EU, because a 2-0 weekend for the first time since when, Mark? Well, ever. Since the teams existed. They've only been around for this year in 2019, but never have they gone 2-0. They finally did it here. They tripled their wins in one single weekend and actually looked pretty decent.
Right. Hey, no one's going overboard here and saying, this is it.
They could beat TSM.
Okay, well, we might go overboard and say that at this point in time, given the performances we have seen from that North American squad. But when you're looking here at this from XL, no one's going crazy and saying, this is the big-time playoff push here coming through. It's a little late for that one here. But when you are looking at this one and you do talk about this as an organization, you are right. This is a very young organization here in the LEC, right into it. And I think this is one that has done, for the most part, quite a lot of the little things right. A lot of these little steps, of course, there still is room for improvement as this organization, but have been impressed with them. And I think here, getting some of these results here, a 2-0 weekend, looking for things to build off of as you move towards the off season. This is a good sign here for the XL Gaming squad.
Yeah, and their win against Misfits, obviously, the Premier Boys had been looking pretty decent, so tons of young talent on display here in this match. Let's just talk about XG2 members, by the way. Expect and Trick have been huge for both of their respective squads. And again, we're talking about Mithy. I mean, he hasn't been as good here in Origin, but Sven is the most questionable looking former G2 member right now.
Sad times. That is real sad times. And again, this is one of those situations where you do remind yourself that it wasn't too long ago that we were hyping up Sven for his performances with TSM this past spring split and saying that, hey, finally arrived. This is the OG Niels experiment working out here and finally showing up in North America. Well, we haven't seen that all the way throughout, but definitely here in the LEC for the most part, and at least with XL, we're seeing signs of life and signs of strong skill once again from former G2 members.
Yeah, and I'm excited for both of these, Rogue and Excel teams that have struggled in 2019. Both organizations have shown growth and their willingness to improve on their rosters. Coming up after the break, no more talk about TSM because the playoff race in the LCK is absolutely nutty for the last 3 weeks. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here on League Unlock. Welcome to our humble digs. Eric and Mark here, recapping the LPL and LCK from the weekend. We had the rematch of the spring finals, a surging SK Telecom against a seriously slumping Griffin, and it was actually a great series. Wasn't really a stomp. It was definitely back and forth. Game 3 was highly competitive. Games 1 and 2, they basically ran the exact same team comps back to back. Both teams feel like it worked out pretty well, but of course, SKT comes away with the win. 7 best of series in a row, but they didn't 2-0, so the full streak's broken.
Yeah, not the full 2-0 here that we had been seeing, of course, from this SKT squad. And you know what? I think they actually will be a little bit disappointed in that, knowing that, hey, these type of game scores
Baker said 14-0.
It might come a big type of issue here as you get towards it. We'll talk about the standings here at the top of the LCK and how crowded they are now. But this was a great win here for the SKT squad. And even for Griffin, you know what? I saw signs of life, signs of positive improvements here from this losing streak as a whole that they have been on for the past couple of matches here. But SKT, talking about the victors, this is what you needed to have happen here. Talking about the performances that came through from you. You got some major performances here out of Clid and Faker, of course, in the mid lane. And then especially want to give the shout outs to your boy Khan in the top side. This is someone that we've always talked about, you know, it's been up and down with him even during the tenure here with SKT, needing him to emerge again as that big threat in the top side that SKT did not have last year and be able to fulfill that role. Hey, this matchup certainly did manage to put down a beatdown in game 1, a beatdown so bad that it even made Doran cry after game 1. Comes back, wipes away the tears though, but Doran does his job in game 2, gets the victory, but Khan comes back and gets the game 3 with a massive performance on that Aatrox here. That was a great thing for him in the squad. SKT, moving forward, needs big performances from Khan.
Yeah, and they should be having huge confidence boost after that series. Griffin, even though they lost, they still looked better than they have in recent weeks, and they're still very much in that LCK race. Nobody has clinched playoffs yet. Nobody in Korea. We're heading into week 8, and even after this week, I don't know if anyone's going to even be able to clinch at that point. 1-7, they're barely separated by a single game, so it's absolutely insane, going to be insane going through the stretch. Got to go through some LPL action that happened over the weekend and even on today because IG, who have been roaring lately, well, not roaring.
They've been IG.
They've been IG, and then I guess this was IG as well. They dominated World Elite in game 1, and you're like, all right, here we go. This is it. Invictus gonna come away with it. Ning gets MVP, looks great. Game 2, I don't know what happened. I guess everyone talks about the coin flip that Ning is, but in 2018, it wasn't much of a coin flip because it was 80% of the time you're getting fantastic world-class jungler Ning. But this game, he got completely destroyed by Beijing on the Olaf. He was 10-1 at one point.
Don't worry, my boy Ning, I'm gonna save you here. I'm gonna take the credit for this one.
What is that all?
I'm gonna say that this was all my fault here. I tuned in, I watched the first game, and I said, man, what a stomp here by IG. This is gonna be easy. I can catch up on my sleep, get this one in real early here. And nope, Doesn't happen. WE finds a way to roar back into this one, get that victory. And hey, even better for them, this was in front of the hometown crowd, in front at their arena here. The WE fans losing their minds for this one. Haven't had a lot to cheer for lately. Getting it in this one against IG.
4-15-5 was Ning's scoreline in games 2 and 3 after getting MVP in game 1.
Hey, that's a World's Finals MVP. Put some respect there.
Yeah, well, IG drops to World Elite. RNG, it's rare for them to drop any kind of series here in 2019 summer. They have been on an absolute roll. They went up against Suning. That's right, Karsa going up against his former Flash Wolf pals in Maple and Sword Art. And as all he's done since he came to RNG, he crushed any hopes and dreams that his former teammates had. That's how you're supposed to ulti on the Greg, says Karsa. But RNG looked great.
I think Maple and Sword Art here after the game said, "Hey Karsa, you know this fun that you're having in the LPL, we haven't exactly been
what
having
is that
it.
like?
We haven't been having it. I don't know what you've been talking about. Maybe share some of that experience over here, because whatever you were doing here to us in this one was not helping us enjoy it in this one." But if you're an RNG fan, you must have absolutely enjoyed this one. Your squad is playing the way that we wanted. We did see about a week or two ago a disappointing drop in the loss column here for this squad. But since then has been that return to form for RNG. Once again, rounding into form here as we head towards that final push for playoffs. And this again, of course, as you know, playoff time in the LPL, RNG and Uzi are going to be there to make sure that you can stand the test here if you want to be the champions.
And their one loss is against FPX, so I think they're right there behind them as the second best team in the LPL right now. And a team that's probably right behind them, definitely is in the standings, is Top Sports. They speed ran their way through Victory 5 Gaming on Monday to just completely destroy them in a 2-0 set. They've got the normal roster that we've seen them dominate with. Knight still looking fantastic, as well as XX as that duo of them. I will say they're 9-2 now after this win, but they still left on their docket in their final 4 games. They have to play FPX, RNG, and IG.
Right, and this is going to be one of those situations we talk about a lot of times. You got to prove yourself against the very best. It doesn't matter if you're looking to prove yourself as kind of the third or second best team in your region, or if you're going all the way for the very top dog spot. And I tell you what, Top, they're looking for that top spot here. They want it. And you got a player like Knight on your roster, the ability that he has, the plays that he makes, the creativity that comes through from him in lane. This is a goal that you should be having as an organization to finish at the very top here. That has to be your goal. And I think right now, the way that they're playing heading into it, be a pretty darn good bet here to put it on all in on Knight here and Top.
Yeah, he's leading the LPL with 12 Man of the Match or MVP for individual game awards, which is way more. It's at least 3 more, I think, than anyone else in China right now. So he's looking great. Xiaohu's looking great. The top 3, even with IG struggling, the top 3 in China right now look like they could absolutely make some noise at the 2019 World Championship. And the LCK, as we talked about, 1-7, the entire top half. Both teams, or both regions in Asia, look absolutely insane right now.
Yeah, you start seeing Griffin have this slide, and you're kind of like, yeah, but they're going to be fine because someone else here is going to have to slip up here. There's no way everyone keeps winning. Hey, man, it is still winning only here at the top in the LCK. Gonna be a crazy ride to playoffs.
Everybody wins in Asia. That's all the time today. For League Unlock, Eric and Mark with you guys. Thank you for hanging out. Catch you on the Flippity Flip.